The rain didn't fall that night so much as it attacked the city, turning streets into mirrors of chaos and glass towers into silhouettes of isolation. Elena Rothman stepped out of the board meeting and straight into it, the kind of downpour that soaked through silk and skin in seconds, that stripped dignity as efficiently as it drenched clothes. By the time she reached the satellite office near midnight, her heels splashing helplessly through puddles and her breath coming out in shallow bursts, she no longer looked like the woman who had commanded a room full of executives just 30 minutes earlier. Her dress clung to her like a second, colder skin. Rainwater traced her spine. Her lips had gone pale, and the armor she wore every day, confidence, authority, perfection, had slipped somewhere between the sidewalk and the glass doors behind her. The executive floor was dark, empty by design. Elena had planned it that way. No assistants, no junior staff, no late-night cleaners yet. Just 5 minutes to grab her laptop bag and leave. Home meant questions, meant people seeing her shaken, drenched, human. This place was supposed to be silent, neutral, forgettable. But as she pushed through the glass door, leaving a trail of water across the polished floor, she realized she was not alone. Malcolm Hayes stood by the desk near the window, arms crossed, staring out at the storm, as if he were measuring it. He didn't turn when she entered. He never needed to. Malcolm always knew. He heard everything, noticed everything, and reacted only when necessary. People called him cold, unemotional, distant. Elena had never corrected them. It was easier to let them think that than to explain the steady gravity that held her days together. When he finally turned, his eyes moved over her in a single sweep. No shock, no embarrassment. Just assessment. Problem identified. Solution forming. He crossed the room, took off his jacket, and held it out to her. Elena stepped back immediately, a flash of sharp defensiveness cutting through the fog of cold. She shook her head. She was not thinking clearly, but instinct was loud. She said she was fine. Malcolm didn't argue. He didn't lower the jacket either. He simply placed it over a chair, as if the refusal hadn't changed the outcome, only the timing. He moved with practiced efficiency then, turning off the air conditioning, switching on the portable heater near the desk, opening the emergency cabinet, and pulling out a towel, bottled water, and a sealed package of clothes. He laid everything out with precision, like someone preparing for a known crisis. And then he locked the door. The click of the lock echoed louder in Elena's chest than in the room. Her breath caught. Her arms wrapped around herself on instinct, wet fabric clinging uncomfortably. Malcolm faced her, his expression neutral, his voice calm and flat, carrying no threat, no hesitation. She needed to change. The words slammed into a wall inside her she hadn't known was still there. Her body reacted before her mind could. She backed away, spine pressing into the desk, heart racing. She said she didn't need to change. She was leaving. Malcolm shook his head once, not in defiance, but in certainty. Outside, the rain beat the windows like fists. Roads flooded. Drivers stranded. Logic lined up neatly behind his words, but logic wasn't what she was fighting. When her body betrayed her, when the violent shiver tore through her, when her teeth began to chatter, Malcolm noticed immediately. Of course he did. He stepped closer, not invading her space, but anchoring it. His voice softened just a fraction, enough to acknowledge something beneath the surface. She asked him not to make her undress. The plea changed everything. For the first time, Malcolm went completely still. He looked at her differently then, not like a problem to solve, but like a reality to understand. Fear, not stubbornness, History, not defiance. He nodded once, as if adjusting an internal equation, and moved without another word. The privacy screen appeared, tall and solid, creating a small world within the room. He positioned it carefully, then turned to face the wall, hands clasped behind his back. He explained exactly what would happen, where he would stand, what she would do, that she would tell him when she was done. Nothing more, nothing less. Control offered back into her hands. It took every ounce of strength she had to move. Each step toward the screen felt like wading through something thick and invisible. Behind it, the towel was soft, the hoodie absurdly large, the sweatpants warm and forgiving. Her hands shook as she peeled the dress from her skin, but she did it. Wrapped herself, changed, breathed. When she stepped out, Malcolm didn't linger, didn't stare. He checked, nodded, and turned away again, as if this were the most natural thing in the world. He handed her ginger tea, set her down, watched without hovering. She broke quietly, and he let her. What followed was not dramatic. No grand confession, just fragments. A line about feeling trapped. An acknowledgement that it wasn't about clothes. The slow unspooling of something she had buried beneath promotions and accolades and flawless presentations. A man from years ago who had decided for her what she should be. Who had turned care into control and guidance into a cage. Malcolm listened, truly listened. He didn't rush her, didn't interrupt, didn't soften the truth, but didn't sharpen it either. He told her he wasn't that man, that helping wasn't the same as deciding. That choice didn't disappear just because help was offered. When the power flickered and the lights dimmed, Elena's fear surged back with primal speed. Darkness had a way of stripping pretense. Malcolm adjusted the room instead of arguing with her fear. Changed the lighting, shifted furniture, created a space where she could breathe. Then the knock came. Her panic spiked, sharp and sudden. But Malcolm moved with certainty. He told her to stay, he would handle it. He unlocked the door and stepped into the hallway, closing it firmly behind him. Minutes stretched. The rain thundered on. Elena sat alone with her thoughts, wrapped in borrowed warmth, feeling exposed and strangely lighter. When Malcolm returned, the door closing softly behind him, the relief that washed through her surprised her with its intensity. Maintenance had been routine. No questions, no intrusion. They waited together after that, not talking much. The storm slowly losing its fury. The city exhaling. When the driver finally arrived, when the roads cleared enough for movement, Elena stood, steady this time. She handed Malcolm the hoodie back, fingers brushing the fabric like she was giving up something more than cloth. She thanked him, not politely, but honestly. Malcolm smiled, not the polite curve people mistook for professionalism, but something real and brief and human. He reminded her that strength didn't mean never needing help, that leadership didn't require isolation, that trust, carefully given, didn't make you weak. As she walked out into the damp night, Elena realized something fundamental had shifted. She wasn't fixed, she wasn't healed, but she was no longer running. She had stayed, she had spoken, she had chosen, and sometimes that was the bravest beginning. If this story moved you, if you saw a piece of yourself in Elena's struggle or Malcolm's quiet steadiness, remember this: you don't have to carry everything alone to be strong. Asking for help doesn't erase your power. It proves you understand it. If this message resonated, take a moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel, And stay with us for more stories that remind us we're human, we're growing, and we're never as alone as we think.